Club Interviews with ECTV.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the ECTV Club Interview Series. Today we are going to be interviewing a student representative from Coco Cram, so let's get straight on into it.
Hi, I'm Kayla and I am this year's head coordinator and senior tutor of Coco Cram.
Who started Coco Cram and why?
So Coco Cram was started about 8 years ago by a student that realized that there were not many options when it came to getting homework help. The only options that you'd really have are asking your parents, asking a friend, or asking your teacher. And also the really expensive option of paying for a tutor outside of school. So this club was formed so you can have a space to study as well as ask for homework questions from people who've already passed this course and already have the knowledge needed to teach these courses.
Who gets to teach Coco Cram?
So there's no one really who teaches Coco Cram. The head advisor is Miss Pearl, and other than that, we do have other teachers who are there as supervisors during our tutor sessions, but that actual role of teaching goes on to the tutors because it is their responsibility to teach and educate the students on that question. It's not really something where a teacher can come in and teach it like it's a regular course. So there's no one that actually gets to teach it, but if there were any questions, concerns, or complaints, you would email Miss Pearl because, like I said, she's that head advisor.
What kind of subjects do you teach?
Tutors that are specialized in almost every course in the school, with the exception of the 1 or 2 new courses that don't have a grade 11 or a grade 12 that have taken that course already. But that includes the math, sciences, business, computers, arts, you name it. And we have people at every single level. So from AP, academic, applied, locally developed, career path. So pretty much you name the course and we most likely have a tutor for it.
Do you have anyone to help out in the arts section?
So obviously some courses are easier to teach than others, and one of those harder courses are the art sector. That is because, as we all know, art is subjective. So we have tutors that can give you tips and tricks, but it's not as simple as, for example, explaining a math problem than explaining an art class or an art lesson. But we still have people who are capable of doing it because we have people who have taken these courses before and already have the knowledge and the experience needed to help.
How do you guys help?
So we actually help differently this year because we're now on Zoom. And what used to happen was we'd have 5 or 6 tutors that would be walking around in a classroom, and they'd be walking around making sure that everyone is on task, doing what they need to do, and just making sure productive work is getting done. But now we're kind of using Zoom and simulating that online classroom, but more one-to-one. And that is because it's one person that needs to be tutored and one tutor in one breakout room. And there you can ask questions. You can even show your textbook and the questions that you're struggling with or that concept that you don't understand. And the tutor can explain by screen sharing using whiteboard and just kind of simulating that online classroom experience, but more direct in order to help that person.
Do you have any advice for students who want to get better at a certain subject?
The advice that we give to all the people who are tutoring, even now, when it comes to being better at a certain subject, you just need to understand what type of learner you are, because it's better to know yourself and work off of your strengths. So for example, maybe you're not doing well in a course just because that layout or the format the teacher is teaching is just not the one for you. So when you're studying, go and use those methods that you know that would work. So for example, if you're a visual learner, you have visuals or pictures just to remember what you did in class. So the best way to do better in any subject is just know yourself, which is knowing what type of learner you are and working accordingly with that.
When does Coco Cram meet?
Coco Cram meets every Tuesday and Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30.
How does the club meet now that it is held virtually?
Now we meet over Zoom, and the way that we distribute the link is we just put it on our Google Classroom, and all you have to do, you just click the link and you get in. So if you're not a part of the Google Classroom now, the link is 5 whip quit. So hopefully you heard that on the announcements, but 5 whip quit.
Do you need any certain qualifications to be a tutor?
So when it comes to the qualities of being a tutor, I think the best ones are being able to communicate, because you have to express what you are trying to say, and also being patient, because sometimes some concepts are just hard to grasp and you just have to be willing to wait and make sure that they understand as well. Also being understanding, because I don't even think I need to explain that one, but you have to be understanding, because sometimes people are nervous and they're not willing to like open out of their shell, because when it comes to asking for help, you're a little vulnerable at that time. And most importantly, what I think is the number one quality is being able to teach. Because it's one thing when you're good at a subject because you're good at it, but it's another thing where you're able to explain yourself in a way that is comprehensible, and it's just like a whole nother set of skills than what you would learn from absorbing information to giving information.
What is unique about Coco and Cram?
I think what's so unique about Coco and Cram, it gives you a space where you can ask questions and you can be vulnerable. I say this because I think academic vulnerability is something else. It's when you're asking your teacher for help, you always think in the back of your head, is this a stupid question? Or you have that fear that you might actually be behind. And with Coco and Cram, it gives you that space where you can seek these answers that you'd be scared to look for otherwise. I think another thing that makes it so unique is that opportunity to be able to talk to grade 11s and 12s who are in different classes and you wouldn't really meet otherwise, and you're able to learn like tips and tricks, and you can have advice, learn from their experiences, and it's just so beautiful, because I feel like Coco and Cram just makes a community within a community, and that's just so amazing on its own.
Do you have any tips for students who are experiencing burnout?
Comes to burnout, you need to understand that you are like a battery. You're expending energy to do things such as, go to school, do everything, honestly. And what works without a charge? Like, for example, your phone, when it's out of battery, it doesn't work. Or a computer, when it's out of battery, it just doesn't work. So you need to take that time and take that break to recharge and like just reboot yourself, kind of. Because even though we are doing things and we want to get the most amount of work done, or sometimes spending the least amount of energy or the most amount of energy to get work done, we need to understand, regardless of how you work, you still need to recharge. Whether it's like a 5-minute break, a 10-minute break, it can even be a 2-minute break just walking away from your desk. Because sometimes when you're doing work and you get frustrated, it's like you just can't function anymore. And it's just so stressful. Sometimes you just need to walk away, deplug, just take a breather, and just section things out, because it's always so hard to look at a mountain and say that you want to climb it, but at the end of the day, you still have to take it step by step.
When we are eventually back in person, should I bring a snack or will they be provided?
Actually, we do give out snacks in person because, brain food. You can't do any productive work on an empty stomach. And that's kind of how we got our name, Coco and Cram, because in the winter, we give out hot cocoa and granola bars. In the summer, we give out juice and granola bars. And we cram because, when you're studying for a test or you're studying to do your homework or even CPTs or exams, you just try and cram in all that work while you're still productive. Thanks for having me. I hope I did not bore you with all that information and you were able to learn a little bit about our club, Coco and Cram. So like I said earlier, we do have a Google Classroom. So all you have to do is join that, and maybe I might see you at our next tutoring session. So bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering all of our questions, and I hope that everybody watching has learned a little bit more about Coco and Cram.